In this lecture, we're going to be talking about systems for audio and visual assistance and support during the speed reading or the general reading process. We want to take advantage of both the audio system that you have and the visual system in a way where you can hear and use your audio perceptive system at the same time you're using the visual perception that you have to kind of enhance your understanding, your retention, and your focus, and most importantly, the speed at which you're operating when it comes to reading texts or reading novels, nonfiction, fiction, anything you're going through, even textbooks and journal online articles. These are factors that can help you a lot. So let's talk more about them. First and foremost, personally, one of my favorite systems is using audiobooks. I'm going to include a lot of free audiobooks related to different books that I find very interesting that you can access on YouTube or other platforms and just listen to them. Now, the interesting thing about audiobooks is that you can adjust the speed at which the audiobook is coming, and this is also stimulating your audiosensory perception. So imagine the following scenario. When you get to your reading zone, you sit down, you put on your headphones, you start playing the audiobook at 2 times the speed, and while doing that, you're reading the book itself. Now, if you're usually used to read and follow through the audiovisual system on a 1-time speed, so regular speed of the audiobook, then if you put it on 1.5, you'll be doing a bit of adjustment. You'll be taking kind of a step towards reading at a better speed throughout it. And once you get better at this, you can also get better when it comes to 2 times the speed. Now, on YouTube, they don't really offer you the chance to go beyond twice the speed, I think. So what you can also do is you can go to a website that I'm gonna put a link about it, so you don't have to waste a lot of time looking for it. You can download the audiobook and then use any software to adjust it, adjust the speed. You can go on iMovie and you can adjust the speed. You can go 3 times, 4 times the speed. The more you get comfortable with it, the better. Now, what happens is that while you're listening to this audiobook and you're following through the text using, for example, the pointer method, you'll notice that your subvocalization, your inner monologues, these would all stop and you would start focusing on clumps, on word groups, on a lot of different group words that you can use to your advantage when it comes to speed reading, of course. And at the end of the day, it is a process, a continuous process that we talked about, starting at even 1.1 times the speed and building up all the way to maybe 6 times the speed when you become really, really efficient and effective in your speed reading. Moreover, something else that can also help you that we refer to in a few other lectures, but that can also be really beneficial when it comes to the audiovisual system, because if the audio system is not working towards your favor, which is the case of the audiobooks, you want to get rid of it. And one way to do that is to have, of course, visual books, actual books, texts that you're going to go through and practice, as we said before, using clumps, word groups, and trying to reduce subvocalization and inner monologues. Now, we also have the audiovisual assistants that can be really beneficial for you to kind of separate both visual, audio, and audiovisual. So what you're going to do is you're going to basically read 2 pages while you are actually reading. You might be miming, you might be reading through subvocalization, inner monologues, and at the same time you're reading with your eyes. Now the next 2 pages, you're going to focus as much as possible to use the methods that reduce inner monologues and subvocalization. So you read the first 2 pages as usual, using kind of a slower pace to read, and then you read 2 pages at the speed that you desire. You can also add the audiobook. You can plug your headphones in while you're trying to read the second 2 pages, as it would also help you more in terms of improvement, and it will also help you a lot when it comes to distinguishing between visual, audio, and audiovisual, as we said before. And one important factor when it comes to this system is that usually our concentration needs a bit of time to build up to its peak. A lot of people argue how much time it needs, but the average is between 15 to 25 minutes. If you read 2 pages really slowly and you focus on them, you start building your focus and concentration, you'll get to a point where once you read the second part of the exercise, so the 2 last pages, you'll be in a bigger state of focus, which is going to ensure a lot more effectivity when it comes to you using the system to kind of separate all the different parts. Now, one thing that correlates to audiobooks, visual reading, and just audio reading is basically speed adjustment. So it is one thing for you to go from 1 time the speed to 1.5 to 2 times to 2.1. But what would be even more effective is for you to start, for example, by reading the first 2 pages. That's also an exercise that you can do. You read the first 2 pages at a certain speed on the audiobook. You can put it 1.2 times the speed, then you go up to 1.8, then you go all the way up to 3 after 2 pages, and then you drop back to 2. So you keep doing this speed adjustment, as it would help you practice and of course get more persistence and more practice overall on this audiovisual system. And what happens through repetition, through persistence, through practice, is that your comprehension and your retention will become better, as you will start to focus on clumps that are important, clumps that are kind of external details that are not really important, word groups, core ideas. Especially through pre-reading and post-reading, you'll be able to build up this entire system where you're reading at an optimum speed, and at the same time, you're not just ensuring an equivalent comprehension and retention level to the level of reading you were at before, but you will actually enhance your comprehension and your retention, and of course your concentration, when you start to build up the system, practice it a lot, and make sure that you're sticking to all these different exercises that you have throughout the course. Of course, there's a lot of exercises, and you're going to basically have to follow a system, whether you build one yourself or you build the one that I'm building and that I'm going to post in this course. And lastly, as we talked about before, this is also an exercise, a supplementary exercise that can help you when it comes to subvocalization and inner monologues. This is a particular exercise, all of those are particular exercises that you can kind of leverage when you're trying to exercise other systems as well. When you're trying to practice your pointer method, getting better at following the pointer, if you use the audiobook, visual book system, simultaneous system, while using the pointer method or the card method, you will also be able to enhance the fact that you can follow your pointer properly, that you're going at the right speed. Also, if you're using the card, that you are doing all the necessary adjustments in the right time. It is true that to master these exercises, you need to practice a lot of them separately. Each and every practice, exercise, system that you have needs to be done and practiced separately so you can master it. But where it gets interesting is that after you master these systems, you can make a combination between all those different systems to even get better at the entire core system.